Today we're going to look at section 17.1, the conditional tense. The conditional tense in Spanish expresses what you would do or what would happen under certain circumstances. And much like the future tense, all the endings for AR, ER, and IR verbs are all the exact same, and also you simply add it onto the infinitive. Por ejemplo, visitar becomes visitaría, I would visit, or comer becomes comería, I would eat. Aplaudir becomes aplaudiría, I would applaud. Por ejemplo, creo que tu mamá y la mía se llevarían bien. I think your mom and mine would get along great. O pensé que te gustaría el Museo de Arte Popular. I thought that you would like the Museum of Popular Art. So polite expressions like me gustaría and te gustaría are other examples of the conditional. For example, if you were to ask for a coffee, in certain countries you would use the conditional tense. Me gustaría un café. I'd like a coffee. Or me darías un café. Would you give me a coffee? It just sort of displays courtesy and politeness, and it's a way to kind of get what you want. The conditional tense is formed, as I said, much like the future tense, as the endings are all the same, both regular and irregular. For regular verbs, you simply add the appropriate endings to the infinitive. And do note that all forms of the conditional tense have an accent mark. And for irregular verbs, you simply add the conditional endings to the same irregular stems that we saw in the future. Por ejemplo, decir becomes diría, hacer haría, poder podría, poner pondría, haber habría, querer querría, saber sabría, salir saldría, tener tendría, y venir vendría. While in English the conditional is a compound verb form made up of the auxiliary verb would and a main verb, in Spanish it is a simple verb form that consists of only one word. Por ejemplo, yo no me pondría ese vestido. I would not put on that dress. Or, ¿vivirían ustedes en otro país? Would you live in another country? The conditional is commonly used to make polite requests. Por ejemplo, ¿podrías abrir la ventana, por favor? Would you open the window, please? O, ¿sería tan amable de venir a mi oficina? Would you be so kind as to come to my office? So as I said, the conditional tense is a common structure used in Spanish to be courteous and truly, as I said, to kind of get what you want. It's a lot more common that someone would ask you for something in the conditional tense just so you'd be more inclined to say yes. It's kind of harder to say no to, would you please do this for me, instead of do it for me. In Spanish, as in English, the conditional expresses the future in relation to a past action or state of being. Or in other words, the future indicates what will happen, whereas the conditional indicates what would happen. Por ejemplo, creo que mañana hará sol. I think it will be sunny tomorrow. Or creía que hoy haría sol. I thought, or in the past, I used to think or thought that it would be sunny today. The English would is often used with a verb to express the conditional, but it can also be to use used to, in the sense of a past habitual action, like I used to do this thing. And so in order to express past habitual actions, Spanish uses the imperfect and not the conditional. Like you might say, when I was a kid, I would go to the park on Saturdays or something. And rather than using the conditional tense, the problem truly here is English, not Spanish. You would rather use the imperfect. Por ejemplo, íbamos al parque los sábados. We would go to the park on Saturdays, or kind of can be translated as we used to go to the park on Saturdays. O de adolescentes comíamos mucho. As teenagers, we used to eat a lot. Or you might say, as teenagers, we would eat a lot. But that would is sort of a different would than the conditional tense. Por ejemplo, sin ti no sé qué haría. Without you, I don't know what I'd do. O solo sabes tú ordenar mi vida. We're just going to compare and contrast a little bit. In Lección 16, we learned the future of probability. For example, the use of the future tense to express a future possibility, kind of possible action. Spanish also has the conditional of probability, which expresses conjecture or probability about a past condition, event, or action. So let's look at these sentences. Por ejemplo, it must have been, or it was probably 11 p.m. when Elvira called me. Serían las 11 de la noche cuando Elvira me llamó. Or sonó el teléfono. ¿Llamaría Emilio para cancelar nuestra cita? The phone rang. Like, could it have been, or would it have been? I wondered if it was Emilio calling to cancel our date. Note that English conveys conjecture or probability with phrases such as I wondered if, or probably, must have been. Whereas in contrast, in Spanish, these same ideas kind of are communicated with conditional forms.